Listening and Speaking Materials by Maura Martinez. Resource presentation. The following information shows the most relevant aspects to take into account when designing material for listening and speaking in face-to-face and online environments. Resource objectives. Number 1. To present different tips for designing listening and speaking materials in a foreign language classroom. Number 2. Use some guidelines for the development of listening and speaking materials correctly. Listening materials. Tips for designing listening activity for classroom. Number 1. Identify if your student is interactive. This allows you to create activities that are of interest to you. Number 2. Implementing the game during an English class. For example, the broken phone game allows your student to learn about transmitting the correct sentence to other classmates. Number 3. The teacher can read a story and then ask random questions about what they understood. Number 4. Doing detections on vocabulary allows you developing listening skills. Number 5. The teacher must have the good intonations, reading, and accent. Tips for designing listening activities for online linguistic environments. Number 1. Watching movies. Number 2. Listening to radio programs. Number 3. Listening to podcasts. Number 4. Listening to interviews and lectures. Number 5. Listening to songs. Speaking materials. Tips for designing a speaking activity for classroom. Number 1. You must adapt the topics according to needs of your students. Number 2. Focus on both fluency and precision depending on your goal. Number 3. Provide intrinsically motivating techniques. Number 4. Encourage the use of authentic language in meaningful contexts. Number 5. Provide appropriate feedback and correction. Tips for designing and speaking activities for online linguistic environments. Number 1. Online forums create back and forth dialogue. Number 2. Seeing and critiquing peer work through virtual gallery walks. Number 3. Moving station brainstorming online. Number 4. Use online tools that develop speaking skill. Number 5. Conversation analysis. Conclusions. To design listening activity, it's very important to know the learning style of the students because it's all the teacher to create strategies that accommodate each the needs of their learners. One of the goals of listening comprehension instructions is to help students understand real-life language by making use of authentic materials. On the other hand, engaging children in dialogue with they encourage to develop and spoken language skills, where speech can be used more effectively to share ideas, negotiate, teaching, challenging, and agree, build relationships, and generally get things done designing pair and group activity based the engaging problem-solving tasks of effort create tools that expand children's communication skill and help them practice one day and learning about language as tool to communicate. Both skill is very important for the learning process. They can be implemented at the same time during an English class, facilitating and the understanding of one the activities. Reference taken to do the activity. Some guidelines for developing listening materials and materials to develop speaking skill. Thank you for watching my video.